This is Winchester Varmint HE 22 long rifle. Accuracy and reliability revisited again. 50-yard rifle target edition. I stopped by the farm supply store on the way to the range today, and as you can see, the supply of this ammo was resupplied to almost overflowing since yesterday. Now, speaking of the range, we were again at the beautiful Banner Range and we had fantastic weather. There's some background noise, though I tried to do some edits for that again. And now, let's hit the range. I wonder if
right below in the red about 1 o'clock near the edge.
looked like it was in the same spot.
I bet you could I bet a quarter would cover all 5 shots.
I wonder.
Ceasefire. Ceasefire.
Anytime.
A little high in the bullseye. That felt and sounded.
About 5:30, a little off the red.
That round seemed low powered compared to the other three.
That's what it sounded like.
That was me.
That was you?
Yeah. I grabbed 2 because I feel like 2 of those felt
Okay,
underpowered.
Anytime. It sounded bad, but it's in the red.
Reviewing our target, starting with the mini mag in the top left, we see what I'm going to call a pretty good group for 50 yards. All shots they're fairly close together. We don't really have any flyers. That's pretty good for me at, again, 50 yards with a 22. Now, if we move to the Winchester ammo in the top right, we have what I'm going to call is a very good group for me. I think this was the best 5-shot group of mine of the day, which is even better when you factor in that I was trying to figure out why the Doppler radar wasn't working in between, and so I wasn't even really steady that whole time. For the Remington Thunderbolt ammo, we see a group that is, well, it's not nearly as precise. And one thing that I thought was very noticeable today, particularly with my CZ Tactical and its extremely heavy Boyd stock that's dense and absorbs recoil and sound, is it was apparent with the Thunderbolt occasionally that we would get random rounds that were what felt and sounded underpowered compared to the other Thunderbolt ammo. And on this set, we had at least 2 that, in my opinion, felt underpowered compared to the rest. And so we shot 7 instead of 5, which you see. And I did that to see if in the grouping we could tell those from the others. And we had 1 flyer off to the left. That's me. The other 6, I think, are grouped such that I couldn't tell which would have been the ones that I thought were low powered compared to the others. Let's look at a different set of targets now. Most of our shooting today was done off camera, mostly because we wanted to enjoy shooting in the fantastic weather, but also because we weren't sure how these targets would show up on target cam. The ones we normally shoot, it has problems with past 25 yards, so I didn't know if it was going to turn out at 50 yards. Now we know these shot seeker ones actually turn out pretty good at 50, so we'll continue to use target cam with them going forward in the future. But anyway, this target we're looking at now, this was shot by the crew, and they used a different 4.55 rifle from the one that I shoot. They shot their 4.55 that has the Varmint barrel on it, which I think has the Varmint wood stock instead of my super heavy Boyd's tactical stock. As we can see, starting with the mini mag ammo in the top left hand target, we see a very similar group to the one that I shot, probably slightly better. And again, very good performance out of the mini mags like we see. I mean, that's pretty standard. Moving to the Winchester ammo, the crew did not think the Winchester for them was as precise as what they saw with the mini mags. In fact, they were actually fans of the Thunderbolt, and the reason we're shooting the Thunderbolt in this video was because they decided that it would be fun to add a third cheapo bulk ammo to this discussion to see how that compared. Now, it's a shame I could not get the Doppler working today. For whatever reason, my Doppler chronograph, we did not get a single measurement on any ammo we tried. And I wonder if that has to do with maybe on these 4.55 rifles, with them being sort of heavy 22s, that it didn't pick up the sound of the rounds being fired to know when to actually start measuring the projectile. Anyway, I don't know. We'll figure that out in the future, and if we have to, we'll go back to using the ballistic chronograph to get some velocity measurements. Because one thing that I think is telling looking at the targets is we can see with the Winchester ammo, we have very clean drilled holes through these targets that look almost laser drilled, which makes me think that it is screaming out there in velocity, probably similar to what's advertised on the box. Looking at the Thunderbolt and the Mini Mag, we don't have that same level of laser drilled hole out there. Let's bring back our first target now, and I'm going to unblur the bottom two targets where we shot the Winchester ammo at 50 yards out of the Ruger 1022 My Mall Ninja Edition, and then also the Smith & Wesson M&P 1522 pistol. Starting with the 1022 My Mall Ninja rifle on the bottom right hand target, we see what I'm going to call a very good group in my red dot that I have now a working battery in, but what we have here at 50 yards, the dot on my budget UTG Chinese, more than 8 years old, now still holds 0 like a champion red dot, is the dot on that is bigger than these 4-inch targets at 50 yards. So I really lose the precision and accuracy that we get out of, say, the nice, fantastic, better than 4K HD Zeiss scope that's on my 4.55 rifle. So when I saw this target after shooting it, I was like, wow, that's a lot better group than I anticipated. I thought it would be a shotgun pattern scattered all over the target at best. And really, I just cut a horizontal line right across the middle of it, which I thought was very good. Now moving to our M&P pistol. Now this is one yesterday in the video I commented that while we have a red dot and the same magnifier that's on the 1022, a better red dot with a hollow sun. I mean, it's basically probably more money than what my 1022 originally cost me. But that due to the size difference and whatnot, and the lack of a true stock and the brace and whatnot, that I don't get as good of a sight picture out of that little MP 1522 pistol compared to the 1022, and it's reflected here even more at the 50-yard target than what we saw at the 25-yard target. Here we have 5 hits on the target, and if we only fired 5 shots, we would say that would be a good group, but we fired 10 shots, and 5 of those shots They must have been left because they are nowhere to be seen on the right side of the target. So I'm going to assume they were, each square is an inch, so 2 inches or more left of where the hits on that target are that we see. And now let's bring back our second target that the crew shot. Now they don't have an M&P or a pistol or equivalent of, say, that style firearm, but they do have their own Mall Ninja 1022 that, like mine, other than the barrel and the receiver, has every other part replaced on it. And what we see here at their target, which again, like mine, is the bottom right-hand target, is a very similar style group. If you consider they put a budget cheapo UTG scope on theirs recently to emulate mine for this video, and they didn't even zero theirs, so they showed up and they're like, yeah, I don't even know where it hits, let's just go ahead and roll it. And so they did 3 shots, which would be the top 2 shots and then that bottom left-hand one, to figure out where their rifle was shooting with that scope. And then, as you can see, the next one, they proceeded to cut a horizontal line like mine, or very similar to it, to where I think if the scope was zeroed, we would see a grouping that was basically a carbon copy of what mine was using the red dot scope. Now, before I forget, one mentionable is, and this is a big one, for all the ammo we fired again today, the Thunderbolt, the Winchester Varmint HE, the CCI Mini Mag, 100% reliability out of all the firearms we shot it in today. Fantastic. Love it when that happens. It's always awesome when you have 100% reliability out of a rimfire shooting experience. Moving on to our targets again. In my not an expert opinion, at 25 and 50 yards, for the Mini Mag and the Winchester Varmint HE, and note, yes, this was the Mini Mag target ammo, though I think this would also be applicable to the Varmint hunting ammo, is I think we get groups and accuracy and reliability and consistency such that we can say that they are plenty serviceable for their intended use as hunting on the hunting ammo side. And on the target side of the Mini Mag, as we can see, we get very good target accuracy and reliability. If we look at the intended use for this Winchester Varmint ammo, which would be a Varmint hunting ammo, in my not an expert opinion, there's no question for my CZ 455 rifle that I shoot groups of such accuracy and precision at 25 and 50 yards, where I think I could use it for varmint hunting pretty effectively. Out of my Ruger 1022, I think it can also be very effective as a varmint hunting round. We saw excellent reliability and accuracy with it. I think I would see even better accuracy with it if I had a little different style optic on it, but even with my budget red dot that's probably going on a decade old at this point, we see still, in my opinion, that's not, again, not an expert opinion, still very good groups for a budget red dot in that situation. For the Thunderbolt ammo, I think we see what I'm going to call acceptable to very good accuracy and precision in a target experience for 25 and 50 yards. If this were hunting ammunition, do I think it would be my preferred choice for that? Probably not, depending on the game that you would be shooting at. I think there's no question I could hit many things at 25 and 50 yards with the Thunderbolt, but do I think I could do one effective mortally wounding shot? I don't know. We'll see. So far, while I shoot, for me, what are pretty good groups, they're not nearly as precise and accurate as we see with the CCI Mini Mags and the Winchester Varmint HE. But again, that's different ammo. One is a bulk range ammo. The others are more of a, say, a hunting slash approaching the premium end. Now, another thing that we can infer looking at these targets, in my not an expert opinion, is besides we need velocity numbers once I get the chronograph situation sorted out, is we need to test this ammo at 100 yards. Now, I think besides 6 to 10 inches, I'm going to guesstimate, inches of bullet drop that we'll contend with, that otherwise we're going to see pretty similar groups, but I'm definitely looking forward to finding out here in the not too distant future. Well, hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day.